Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video and welcome back to Formula Legends. Yes, the game is finally out with its full release, obviously. We made a video a couple of months ago jumping in with the beta, but yeah, the game now, like I said, is out to the general public. You can pick it up on Steam as of today, which, yeah, but today we're going to find out whether you should do so. First of all, a massive thank you to the development team over at Formula Legends for providing me with an early access of the game. Of course, obviously, yeah, we jumped in. We did a couple of little races, obviously on the pre-release beta that was very good fun. But now all of the features have been unlocked inside the game. And I must admit, I'm very, very excited for it. We've got a story mode where you can relive the history of Formula 1 from the early days up to the modern era and unlock new rewards. We've got custom mode, which of course just allows you to set up races however you want. And then there is also time attack, as well as obviously settings and the showroom. As you can see, of course, obviously we've got to try and do some races to unlock a lot of the cars inside this game. So I mean, you can get a rough idea. Obviously, you know, that is very reminiscent of an early 2000s F1 car. Always, I love the names inside this game. You'll never guess who Bonton is meant to be kind of emulating inside the title. Brownie GP, we need to get 1,000 points inside the game to unlock them. And then, as you can see, obviously, you've got the Brum 60L with Pierre Carnage, and then the Cougar 200E as well, which, yeah, very, very reminiscent of the early 2000s Jaguar. Of course, if I do go through and play a bit more of this game, it will be over on Matt212 Plays, so there'll be a link down in the description to that channel as well. But I think today, we're going to jump into the story mode and give it a bit of a whirl. So, we have obviously got the Pioneers generation, which is from the late 1960s, inspired by the 1968 season, The Age of Pioneers, when dangerous cars were raced on challenging tracks. The tragic accident of the Flying Scotsman, one of the brightest stars among the drivers of that time, sparks debate over the safety of the sport for the first time, of course, that being Jim Clark. Then, obviously, you've got the Speed generation, inspired by the 1970 season. While revolutionary car features are changing the trajectory of future design, racing remains very much a dangerous career. This is demonstrated by the championship winner of the season, who is awarded the title posthumously, something unheard of until then in the sport. And, of course, luckily still, even to this day, has only happened once. But yeah, I mean, you've got so much variety inside the game, of course. Effectively, 3 kind of championships from most generations as well. So that is going to be really, really good fun to obviously go through inside the game. But I think we're going to kickstart it then right at the very beginning with the late 1960s. So qualification is 2 laps, of course. Difficulty, we'll set it to normal, I think, for this one. And then we can see the race assist, traction control is off, ABS is off, and the WRS, don't quite know what that is off the top of my head. Is that like gearing or something like that? I don't know. Someone let me know down in the comments, because I'm sure you guys can work it out much better than I can. So we have only got the one car then ready for this one. I mean, it's called the Fiorenzo. It's Italian. It is very much obviously based on the Ferrari of the time, with Christian Moon being our driver ready for this one. I just love the design of this game. You know, I think it's absolutely fantastic. Kind of that basic but brilliant kind of design. And as you can see, we're here then at the Arden GP. So I believe this was one of the circuits that I obviously drove first time around when I played this game. And obviously getting ready then to go for our first lap here. How long will it be before I make a massive, massive mistake down in towards turn 1? Of course, obviously not for the source. Now, one of the big things... Whoa! Okay, yeah, but without ABS, you've got to be super, super careful on the brakes as well then. So I wonder if the WRS is like the clutch system inside the title. But fantastic then immediately. You know, this game isn't... You know, it will quite happily punish you if you make a mistake there. So, track limits. I remember that now. Track limits were absolutely brutal inside this title as well, as we make our way down towards the end of obviously what isn't the Kemmel Straight there, is immediately having to try and adapt to the trail braking. Now, I'm pretty certain last time we played, this game was a bit more kind of like a top-down, wasn't it, kind of player. But now we've kind of got this chase camera angle. I don't know. There we go. We can change it, obviously, if you want to. So I need to try and set myself up ready. How far out can I go? There we go. Oh, look at that! got like a little helmet camera as well then. I think this is going to be the best view though. But I've only now got one chance to try and absolutely nail a lap time here. So we are currently last by a long old way. But just trying to trail brake in towards someone there. I've got to make sure I don't cut Eau Rouge. That's going to be the big one. Eau Rouge and Rally on there, as it looks like, I think McLaren is at the top of the board there. Is just like keep it inside track limits up over the top of the hill. I mean, the music as well is absolutely fantastic. That goes without saying. For a little arcade racer, I think, yeah, this is absolutely brilliant fun and actually rather immersive as well. You know, this might end up being a game where there is a little bit of, you know, community league racing, that kind of thing as well, which is always quite cool, especially, you know, when you watch people that really dedicate their time to these games and obviously able to find their limits as well. Oh, no! I'm not going to get done for track limits, apparently. I've escaped that one somehow scot-free. But on the run back towards the line, we still end up last, or 14th anyway, ready for this first race. So I guess we've got a bit of a last to first challenge coming up. So it is Bryce McLeod on the pole ahead of Gareth Hall. I mean, we were only 2 seconds away from the top time, which based on the couple of little errors I made, I don't think is too bad. But yeah, let's get into the race. Well, here we are then, down on the grid, ready for my first ever race in Formula Legends. The 3 red lights are on, and I apparently nailed the start. I have no idea how, but I'm not going to complain, as making the run in towards turn 1. Are we going to see some chaos immediately then? Oh, some big dive bombs coming in, but I'm going to get to the inside of everybody there, down to that first corner, making up a couple of spots, then immediately I'm into P9 off the start of the race. There is, just be careful, contact. Can be very, very peculiar inside this game. I think it just tries to incentivize that you don't just drive through other cars as well at the start of races there. But a fairly clean, tidy start, actually, for myself. And up then 5 places as we plunge down the hill. Whoa, on lap 1, up another one then. So almost into your top half here. Just nailing these lines there, trying just to kind of see what the AI are doing. They like to go for a really kind of late approach and really attack the exit of the corner as well there, which seems to work quite well for them. But I mean, yeah, there is a lot of depth to this game. Of course, obviously, you've got like the dry to wet model as well. Obviously, you know, the option there of dry or wet tyres at the start. Of course, as you move your way through towards more modern races, there will be an option for different tyres as well inside this game. So it's kind of trying to simulate, but in a really kind of fun and, you know, not basic, because there is actually quite a lot of mechanics to this game as well there. I mean, you can already see tyre wear. We are going to have to make a pit stop in this race. Of course, you've got your hearts as well as your water temperature, so you have got to be a bit careful. You have got to manage the car quite a lot as well in the early stages there as well. Trying to look down the inside there, but the AI actually give me a good run for my money through the final couple of corners. And Car, that is his name. I'm not just being very, very basic. There will hang on to the spot, but yeah, Slipstream very, very potent as well. Dive back down the inside at that first corner, try to keep it inside track limits, and there we go. We have made the move once again as Bryce McLeod still leading the way up at the front of the order there. But yeah, I think this game is going to be really, really good fun. Of course, all the cars handle differently as well, everything like that. And I think the thing I love most of all, of course, is normally with kind of these top-down little races, you know, it's normally like a 3-lap race, and it lasts about 5 minutes at most. But 11 laps here is going to be over a 10-minute event. So you have actually, you know, got to play the strategy. You've got to be consistent with it as well, because the AI are no slouch. I mean, as you can see, we're moving our way through quite nicely as we've caught up to our teammate. But, you know, they give me a good run for my money. I have to really nail the laps if I want to be competitive there. Got to be super careful braking right underneath the car in front of you. Otherwise, you do lose all the downforce off of the front end as well. But trying to get a bit of a run then up the hill once more. He swung out wide and he's turned me. I get a track limits warning for getting turned by someone else there. No idea how that one works out, as we are getting absolutely swamped down the back straight. You can see all of the cars as well. You know, they are looking just a little bit unique there. Through the corners as well, but we are going to have to make our first pit stop of the day fairly soon as well, as trying to just, you know, you can figure out lines that work quite well. I'm playing this on an Xbox Series X controller, but I mean, this one just plug it and play. I'm sure PlayStation controllers, everything, you know, all of the kind of like the fairly well-known ones are going to be well supported inside the game immediately. But I think with all of like, no, don't turn me, don't turn me. with all of like the gameplay mechanics and everything like that, I'm sure there will end up being, you know, a bit of a community racing scene inside this game as well. I believe there is going to be multiplayer support, so that is going to be really, really good fun as well. You know, there will end up being like ranked lobbies and championships, things like that as well. I'm reaching VMAX there as I try to go down the middle. Oh, and I'm going to get turned again. The AI, they have got no chill with me today. Maybe they're not a fan of the way I'm racing them, but they are just dive bombing me everywhere and trying to turn me around. So I'm going to have to return in kind. We are definitely not going to be able to stretch the tyres through to the end of the afternoon. So, oh, we've got a few cars into the pit lane then, including my teammate, I believe. So we will just wait and go one extra lap before I decide to dive it in. And obviously, you know, pit lane strategy, you know, might be really, really important as well. Do you box early and obviously try and get the fresh rubber? Or do you pit a bit later and obviously hope that you're going to have the tyres towards the end of the race as well there? There we go, Eau Rouge completely flat out as well as we go purple through that first sector. But, you know, you get a little bit of field spread as well from the AI, which I think is really, really good. You know, you're going to have races, you know, are going to be different each and every time as well, which I think is absolutely fantastic. Is this going to be, oh, a bit of a dive bomb there? It's all rain to start then in just a moment. So I think we've got to try and stretch these tyres a little bit further and then maybe make a call straight over to the wets there. That seems to be what one other driver is doing then, or two even, as Bryce McLaren is still out at the front of the order. It might take me a little while to kind of learn the names inside this game as well then, as our fuel state is getting quite low, but so is the tyre lives. There we go, some wet weather now appearing on your screens, and immediately the grip beginning to drop. There is a load of AI that had to pit on that one. I'm going to have to dive back into the pit lane then, so we're now losing performance on these tyres as well. So I believe, yeah, how you drive will affect the tyres as well. You know, if you go spinning and things like that, it will punish you with the tyre life as well, as trying just to navigate our way through these final couple of corners. Oh, easy does it. But yeah, we are going to have to peel into the pit lane now then. So are our top two. So onto the wet tyres we will go. I mean, look at this. It's so cool. It's just quite cute, isn't it, this game? I think is the big thing as well. Oh, I've got to press buttons. I didn't realise that. B and A, thank you. I got 3 out of 4 correct, apparently. And what am I doing? There we go. Getting out back onto the circuit. I ran over someone else's pit crew. But we will regain manual control about there then. So I think we've gained quite well in all of this. And as you can see, obviously, you don't actually regain... I think, actually, no, you do regain some durability in some water temps, but not all of it there, so you have got to really manage that towards the end of the race as well. But you can see even a dry line forms. There's even a dry line inside this game, and maybe it'll make more sense than it does inside F125, but yeah, diving our way then down the hill in towards these final couple of laps. I mean, top guys do still have a bit of an advantage. I don't know if anybody kind of made the call early, but there is definitely a reduction of grip as we try to make our way through those final couple of corners. But 3 laps to go of this race then. Nobody else into the pit lane. Are we going to be able to try and get up towards that next guy in front? Are we going to be able to try and keep it on the island as well? As, oh, just misjudged my line in towards turn 1. And of course, in the wet conditions, the grass is just a bog. You have got nothing, no grip at all. If you get on that grass, especially in the rain, you are in big trouble there, as that's going to be my second track limits warning of the day. If I remember correctly, you get 3 warnings before a penalty, so I need to keep it clean and tidy towards the end. I mean, with the background music as well, when you're just trying to concentrate and set some laps, this game is such a vibe. It's just really, really good fun and kind of just invites you to obviously drive more, you know, try and really nail those lines, get the apexes hit, and obviously try and chase better lap times there. There isn't much difference in the grip between the dry and the wet, I don't think, on the circuit, as long as you stick on that dry line there. But on to the final lap we go then, here from the Arden GP, trying to wind our way back up through the top of the circuit as well. Yeah, this is just really, really good fun. Like I said, obviously, the game is coming out. Obviously, I will make sure I leave a link down in the description below if you do want to pick it up. I'll double check quickly before I say what the price is, just because I can't remember off the top of my head. But especially to support a small developer like this as well, you know, I think you will get your money's worth out of this game. You know, if you're a fan of kind of these top-down little races, and everything like that. And they seem to be making a bit of a renaissance as well, which is really, really cool. Out of the final corner, though, from the back of the field, it is going to be P7. I'm happy we held on. I'm happy we survived as Christian Moon here in our first ever race as well. But yeah, absolutely loving that. Is it just going to throw me straight into the next race? I think we've obviously got like a full championship standings and everything like that. It's even the cutscenes look really good. But Jack Stewie takes the win ahead of Pierre Carnage. Dan Holm for McLaren in P3 as well there. So Bryce McLaren, unfortunately for him, finishing down in P5 when all is said and done. But we beat our teammate Jack Eggs down at Forenzo as well there. 6 points in the championship hunt. So yeah, same system as what we've got in Formula 1. So, just to quickly re-clarify, I might have got my dates slightly wrong. The game actually releases tomorrow, and it's going to be available for $20 US, or about £18 here in the UK. But like I said, I think if you're a fan of top-down races, it is going to be well worth the money, of course, with all of the story mode and everything like that. You know, there is going to be a lot to keep you playing inside this game. I believe there as well is also a free trial if you just want to give that a go with the demo, you know, just to kind of decide whether it's exactly what you're after as well. Thank you all so much for watching, though. Let me know if you're going to be picking up Formula Legends down in the comments below. But yeah, we'll be back very soon with more Formula 1 content.